Hello, Morning Rush regulars. I was going to wear my flotation device, but I took it off this morning after I took my shower. Did I mention I always wear one of those when I take a shower? Hello, Kelly Nash.
Good morning.
This is Tomorrow's Show Today. Tumbleweed, our cameraman extraordinaire. Thank you so much. By the way, Tumbleweed, I still have the prophecy stuck to the wall. At this point, we do not have indications that that's what she's talking about. It's supposed to be the last hurricane of the season. How do we know which one's the last one? Did you ask her that? Could she prophesy that for us?
She said end of the season.
Okay.
People who don't know what we're talking about, that was a prophecy from a prophetess who visited with our friend Tumbleweed, who said that basically all three rivers were going to overflow and kill all of us.
Come up out of the ground.
Or we're all
out
going
of
to
the
die.
ground.
So Columbia will be here no more by the end of this hurricane season. Get that going for us.
From the prophetess of love.
Yeah. So we should enjoy one of the final few Tomorrow Shows today.
So, hey, and by the way, I almost got called out by one of our friends here. I was about to throw a newspaper into a trash can, and then I saw her. So I had to dig it back out quickly. And I think I've seen her dig stuff out of the trash cans that are recyclable items. Do you have a recyclable policeman in your office?
I prefer the term recycle Nazi. Okay. We have like grammar Nazis and recycle Nazis. I think we're all for recycling. Most people.
Sure.
Most people don't want to say, well, I don't want you to use this plastic ever again. But we're not going to bend over and go crazy over this stuff. Who in your office or maybe in your family that is just driving you nuts with the recycling?
And it may be that you're like us. We don't even have recycling bins. She creates her own recycling bins, made of course some recyclable material. So we don't even, like at the house, I got a recycling bin in the house, and then you got the recycling Herbie Kirby. We don't even have that here. Are we supposed to have that?
I don't know, but we do have an area. I haven't checked it lately, but it was, when we say overflowing with cardboard boxes, I mean, it was literally how wide, Tumbleweed? Maybe 10 feet wide and all the way to the ceiling with cardboard boxes?
It's 10 by 15 to the ceiling.
Yeah.
All the way to the top.
And she kept saying, and I throw away like a thing I got a CD in. Like, this is you. Why wouldn't you put it in the recycling thing? It's been there for 4 years.
Oh, that's our recycling bin.
It was. That was where she said to throw it.
Okay, well, if you don't have a recycling bin, you must take one of your sales cubicles and determine this to be the recycling bin and just throw stuff in there, and she'll come and clean it out.
You know, now this is a weird story. It just made me think of it. So, in Connecticut, did they have recycling cans here? Like that's like doesn't exist anymore, right?
No.
You get 5 cents for a can.
No.
But they never did it in South Carolina.
We did glass.
Okay, so we had cans as well, and you paid extra for
That's
it.
right.
So you paid, and you don't have to follow my hand every time I move it.
a
I noticed Tumbleweed's following my hand wherever I put it. It's really not about my hand, but the. You'd buy a 6-pack of soda or beer or something in cans, and they would charge you, if it was a 6-pack, they'd charge you 30 cents extra, and then you would get the 30 cents back if you returned the empties.
Right.
So what I did as a teenager is whenever we went drinking, I would tell everybody, throw your cans on the floor of my car. So on Friday night, there would be like 18 idiots in my car at some point, and I would get like 5 cases of empties.
Right.
The car stunk to high heaven of stale beer.
A small price to pay.
Yeah, but I would come out with like an extra $9. I got $9 in recyclables, and then I go and buy another case of beer, and then invite everybody to drink in my car Saturday night. I got another $9. My car stunk so bad from like 84 to about 87. It was a horrible smell from my car.
All right, well, I know we're all into recycling, like Kelly says. Why wouldn't you? It's a conservative thing to do. We always, we want to conserve and reuse. That's what Duke Cannon would say.
Gosh, is this a commercial for Duke?
I love Duke Cannon. Duke Cannon would say, recycle. It's good for the earth. That's what he would say.
No.
So, yeah.
You've never even used a Duke Cannon product, have you?
No, I have. I've used one like this, but this is the one that I keep for emergencies. Like if Dorian comes ashore, I can use this one.
Somebody gave that to Jonathan last
Not
Christmas.
somebody, one of our clients, the gallery.
Last
1104
Christmas.
Caldwell Street, downtown Newbury. That's where Duke Cannon shops.
And so when he came in and showed it to me, I looked it up online, and I fell in love with just the marketing of Duke Cannon because it's so over the top. And I started buying stuff. It's pretty good stuff.
Cannon.
Yeah.
He would never use a sentence that included the words salad and bar.
Yeah, they never
Those
put
words
those together.
do not go together.
No. All right, so and we didn't get paid for anything from Duke Cannon, just so you know.
Or the
Now,
gallery.
So we already got the one bit with the who's your Nazi in your office or your family, but this Dorian story has got a lot of crazy angles to it, including in Florida, cocaine now washing up on the beaches.
That's when you know your planet has a drug problem.
Yeah.
I remember living with a guy one time. My roommate would have these parties, and one morning I was walking over to the fridge or whatever, and go back to my recliner. I was watching CNN. This is way back in the day, and I felt something on my foot. And I looked between my toes, and there's some kind of peel stuck between my. I pulled it out, and I said, "Look, this is when you know you have a drug problem with your roommate. I can't walk across the carpet without picking up some kind of drug in my foot."
Yes.
This is what the world's come to now. We got one storm, and instead of having zombie tidal wave, we got cocaine washing ashore in Florida.
Yeah, and the police are theorizing that it's written in Spanish, the words that are on the kilo of cocaine that is washed up, that these guys were, could have been years ago, were getting stopped by the Coast Guard or whatever and just trying to throw stuff into the ocean. And it's now washed all the way in because this Category 5 was just so powerful, it just blew everything in.
Oh, it's churning up debris that has never seen the light of day in years. Quote, in quote, one of your newscasters.
How long ago was that quote?
Yeah, it's probably about 15 years old.
Yes,
It's a great quote, though. I think about it every time I see a storm rolling in on a coastline.
How about that? So we can talk about weird things you found on the beach. We can talk about weird things people have said to you, and you've never forgotten it.
This is debris that has never seen the light of day in years. That's one of my favorite. The other one was when a friend of the show, Tom Johnson, crawled out of his hotel balcony in Myrtle Beach into a palmetto tree so you could hear the wind rustling the leaves on the palmetto tree, the branches. Good job, Tom. That took me right, I felt like I was right there with you.
We've got 2 more stories that I'm looking at for tomorrow. I think you and I mentioned this to each other yesterday, that there's a new study that shows people are getting more and more impatient. That we want things, yes,
what are you saying?
quickly now, have to have it.
What are you trying to tell me?
Wrap this up.
But for me, like, I'm reading this and I'm like, I don't think this is impatient. They're saying that people get impatient after waiting 16 seconds for a web page to load. Well, yeah, because it's supposed to load now.
Right.
That I think it's what is your expectation? It's like when I don't feel impatient when I wait 10 minutes to get into a football game.
Sure.
Because there's a long line of people. I expect it. I'm probably going to wait 5-10 minutes before we can get in. That's
You don't get impatient when you're waiting for that incredible appetizer at Hall's Chop House. You know it's going to take time for them to make it just right.
Exactly. But if the web page is taking 16 seconds, you're like, hello, what are we doing? Now, of course, it's only got to go to outer space and back.
Exactly.
But it usually works in about 3 seconds. So why, after 16, I don't know. I don't think, because they're trying to make it appear in this story that today's society is much worse than previous generations.
I will admit, I get impatient with certain things.
So impatient, you cut me off. I'm kidding.
And I
Someone would like that one.
let him finish his thought.
Continue. As you were.
So I'm waiting a quarter of a second intentionally because if I run a newscast where they're using a satellite feed, it takes an extra 6.5 seconds for the information to travel through the transmission line up to a satellite, back down the satellite, through the other transmission line, back to the location of the person she's speaking. But that last quarter second right there drives me nuts. And there's no fix for that.
Oh, so when the guy says, yes, Diane, or
Right.
whatever, that bothers you.
And you go, thanks for that report, Kelly.
You're welcome, Bob.
Right. It drives me nuts. Maybe I am part of the problem.
What they should do, see, you know how you fix that, Jonathan? You get all of the anchor's questions originally, you type them out, and you hand it to him. So he knows, these are it's just pre-recorded. Bob, thanks for that question. I'm gonna tell you whatever. But I can understand where you get frustrated with that. Apparently in New York City we have people who are frustrated that they don't have access to high-end luxury items 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Really?
I mean, New York is they say it's the city that never sleeps, but the shopping districts do.
Sure.
So we're fixing that now. They now have
Right.
6 new vending machines that they've installed around Rockefeller Center. So if you wanted to buy a Mercedes
Okay.
at 3 in the morning, you can do that. You want to buy a diamond ring? You can do it. You need a Brooks Brothers suit. Literally push a button and out comes a Brooks Brothers suit.
Now we're talking.
That-
Now we're talking. This is why I got so excited the other day. I was reading about these new animated, automated kitchens. Nobody works in the kitchens. It's all cooked by robots. And it's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week because it's all cooked by robots. And there's never any talk back. And you order it yourself, so you know exactly what you're getting. I've always wondered, here's a great idea for somebody who has the money to put into it and the wherewithal to get a Georgia Tech graduate to help make it. Why do we have convenience stores where you actually walk in the door? That ought to be one gigantic vending machine. And if I'm going to get a Coke, I'm going to walk down here, and I'm going to hit a button, I'm going to get some candy, I'm going to get that, I get to the end, click out, the whole thing comes out right there in a bag. And then I go back to my car, which is already being filled up by a robot. Why don't we have that? That would seem like an easy fix.
we need that.
Yeah, because people get shot and stuff working with convenience stores. You can maybe get caught in some crossfire or something, depending on where you're shopping. This way, there is no person to go inside and rob.
That's right. Good idea.
Thank you.
Jonathan's fixing the world. That's better than the guy that we played earlier with the let's just drop the ice in the ocean and stop all the hurricanes. The other story that we had was, are you concerned when certain people ask to pull your credit? Like, I understand when companies, corporations are like, we're going to need to run a credit check on you before you can buy this vehicle.
Right.
But like,
Even when you get hired now, they'll run a credit check on you.
yeah. So, but what about like when you just want to rent an apartment you rent a room from Billy Bob, and Billy Bob's like, I'm gonna need to get your credit report. You don't mind that? I don't think I want you with my credit report. Who's the weirdest person who's ever asked you for your credit report? Like,
You want to be part of the He-Man Woman Haters Club? We meet every Tuesday. Got a special hat that'll cost you $15, but we need to run your credit. What?
Why do you need my credit for?
I just want to be part of the club.
Why don't I just pay you $7.50 a month and I can live here?
Exactly.
No, that doesn't work for you.
No.
Anyway, weirdos who pull your credit, or at least ask for it.
Yeah.
I'm not as concerned about it anymore since I live in South Carolina. Because as you know, anybody who was a taxpayer in South Carolina previous to, was it 2012?
Something like
2013?
Yeah.
Um,
All our information.
all your information, social security number, credit history, that was all stolen.
Under
when
the Department of Revenue.
Yes.
The state did that for you. Not a problem.
He did it for you.
I asked him, why don't you just print the crap off and leave it outside the building? Make it easier for them. We're supposed to be hospitable, right?
That's right.
Just drop off disc. Just roll around, throw them around town. Hey, tomorrow we're also going to keep you updated as this storm called Dorian, I don't know if you heard about this storm, comes screaming, hopefully screaming past our coastline.
Yeah.
And then gets the heck way up to the northeast. It could go up to the New England states and squat, as far as I'm concerned. But we
What
got
about
to get
my mom?
it. We got to get it. That's right. And she's watching right
That's
now.
right.
Dee, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. So here's the thing. We'll keep you updated with Dorian tomorrow. If you got anything you'd like to add to these conversations, you can do that at 978-9267, 978-WCOS. And you can always reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, or wherever you want to reach out and touch.
Don't forget
Reach
Instagram.
out. I'm sorry.
Don't forget Instagram. We got a big push now on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Listen, tell all your friends. We're getting judged on this by Friday. So if we don't get an extra like 600, 600?
I don't know.
600 followers on Instagram, WCOS, Jonathon Rush, and Kelly Nash. If we don't get that by Friday, then I don't know what's going to happen. I think we're in charge of recycling.
I think something happens at Tumbleweed, so.
Yeah.
Save Tumbleweed.
Yeah.
Right? Show
Tumbleweed.
them your scary face when you're sad.
Tumbleweed is fired if we don't get, so help us get some more Instagram followers. And Tumbleweed thanks you, and so does Becky.
Thank you.
Yeah, because she doesn't want him at home. Keep Tumbleweed at the traffic center. That's what I'm saying. See ya.